Our next guest runs his very own Sirius XM radio channel entitled Mad Dog Sports Radio. Here's a good friend, Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Chris, come on out and sit. Nice to see you, sir. Thank you very much for being here. A lot of stuff going on in the world of sports. Let's run it down yesterday.
Yeah.
Here's what happened to me. The Giants coughed one up. Beaten by Dallas.
Tony Romo down the field for a change. How about that?
I did not predict that. The Colts get creamed by the Cardinals.
Bad game for Luck.
What happened there?
Yeah, shocking. The Cardinals are playing well, Dave. They got a good defense. Palmer's playing well. The coach against Pagano is a good win for Arizona. They're going to make the playoffs.
Well, what happened to the Colts when they were playing St. Louis? They get beat by St. Louis as well.
They barely beat Tennessee.
Yeah, what's going on?
You should do. I've told you 1,000 times. Sports talk.
Thank you very much. Now listen. Then the Broncos and the Patriots.
Well, we have had this debate, you and I, many a time. Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
It's cold weather. It's 20 degrees. The wind's blowing. New England's down 24-0. They had a bad loss to Monday night, the penalty in the end zone, which they didn't give the extra play. And Brady and Belichick come back and win that football game, score 31 consecutive points, and then win the game in overtime. Give Brady, listen, Unitas, Montana, Otto Graham. Brady is that good a starting quarterback, and say what you want about Belichick. He is a great football coach.
All right,
now, your issue is Peyton Manning.
No, my issue now here is you put Brady up there in that group.
Absolutely.
Who else, what other coach has Tom Brady played in the NFL for?
Just Belichick.
There you go.
Well,
is it Belichick or is it Brady?
I think it's a combination. Belichick obviously drafted him in the 6th round, and all great coaches, Dave, have to have that quarterback. Lombardi had Starr, Eubank had Unitas, Paul Brown had Graham. All the great coaches need that quarterback, and Belichick and Brady are like joined at the hip. And Manning is your problem. Don't get away from the topic.
I'm saying, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's the other way around, because I've seen Tom Brady. I'm bigger than he is. I have a better arm than Tom Brady, and a lot of what he does is this. He takes the ball and then hands it to a guy. And then every now and then,
he threw for 298 yards in terrible conditions, Dave.
Yeah, but okay, let's do this. Let's start a franchise in Berlin, and we'll call him for the first game. Tom, the first game is Tuesday, and he'll say, "Jawohl," and then he goes over. We drop him in. Let's see how he does with the Berlin Rockets.
So you think it's Belichick?
I think it's Belichick. I mean, here's the guy, the flip of the coin. He says, by God, we'll let you guys have the first reception. You guys, we're going to play against the wind here.
He's but think about that for a minute. He's going up against Manning last night, and obviously the overtime, if you score a touchdown, you win the game. He goes up, he wins the toss, Belichick, and he gives Manning the ball.
That's right, exactly right.
That's like saying, you know what, you're not going to, he's doing this to Peyton Manning.
I know.
You're not going to score, they don't score, and Brady wins the game.
But that has nothing to do with Brady. Did Brady kick the field goal?
They went down 24-0.
I'm just tired of having Tom Brady stuffed up my nose after all of these years with Peyton Manning. I'm sick and tired of hearing about Tom Brady.
17-7 in play.
Hey, let's talk about this. What is going on with his hair? What is that?
He changes that style every day, I know.
You call it a style or construction site?
But don't you...
There's something going on up here.
You know what, though?
I don't want my quarterback with hair plugs.
Hey, if he wins, you take him. He's 17-7 in the postseason. He's been to 5 Super Bowls. He's 10-4 against Peyton Manning. Look at him last night. He throws a touchdown pass to Gronkowski. He runs in the end zone, and he headbutts him. Look at him in the Carolina game last week. He's yelling after the officials with the penalty in the end zone. He's screaming. He's using bad language. He's got guts.
Let me ask you a question. Where you work over there at Sirius XM Satellite Radio, do they do any drug testing?
baby.
But here, what was the year that the Ravens won the Super Bowl? And the Trent Dilfer.
2000.
Trent Dilfer
Right.
is the quarterback.
Not great. Great defense.
What a great defense, and the coach who was what's his name? Okay, so they win.
Brian Billick.
Trent Dilfer going to the Hall of Fame?
No, he's not.
No.
But you stop getting to the point about Manning. He doesn't win the big game. I know you're a Colt fan and a Bronco fan and a Giant fan, by the way. I don't know how that's possible, but I understand that. He doesn't win a big game. Doesn't that bother you?
I'll tell you something. Last night, through the whole game, they put up the comparison. There'd be Manning, and there would be Brady. And then they had all kind of stats. And after a while, it got just a little sad. Just a little sad, because Brady, but I'm telling you, Brady is the work of the evil genius Belichick. Well, you could quarterback the Patriots with Belichick.
They are joined at the hip. We agree. We don't disagree on that point. But Belichick doesn't have those Hall of Fame rings without Brady. Remember that. You need a quarterback to win in the National Football League. And we all know Manning's...
Trent Dilfer has a ring.
That's a good point.
He ain't going to the Hall of Fame.
That's why you're a talk show host. You know this kind of stuff. Hey, man, we'll end it on this point, okay? 1967, Ice Bowl. The famous Green Bay-Dallas game in the terrible weather in Green Bay.
Jerry Kramer.
That's the game. Lombardi's last game as the Packer coach. Packers had 9 straight 3-and-outs in the second half of that game. They're down 17-14. Cowboys have a doomsday defense. That's a great defensive team. Landry's the head coach, Hall of Famers, everything else. They started with 4:38 to go on their own 32-yard line in that weather, down by 3. If that was today, would you rather have Manning engineering that drive or Brady engineering that drive?
I'd rather have, Tom
Brady!
We'll be right back with Chris Russo, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now let's talk about everything else. Well, Indiana Pacers, red hot 12-2 or something like that.
Great basketball. They have never won.
They beat Miami.
Why not?
Yeah,
remember last year they almost beat Miami, and they didn't have Danny Granger. They're going to have him eventually in the postseason.
That's right. Yeah.
And don't forget, Wade's getting old, so yeah, they can beat Miami.
I was worried about was it Roy Hibbert? I was worried about him.
Oh, well, he's played well. He stayed. He's big.
I know, but
Indiana's
remember at the end of the season last year, he used bad language. Remember that? He referred to the press.
Oh, he got mad at the press. Okay.
Yeah, and he used a terrible word. And being from Indiana, people don't like that. And I thought, uh-oh, here we go.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. They're going to unload him.
They kept him, and a lot of bad words in sports right now. Indiana, they've never won an NBA championship. They're an interchangeable team. They can play defense. They need to make some outside shots.
I like Indiana.
You know what's important for Indiana? Get the home court advantage. Game 7 is in Indiana instead of Miami.
You know, last year in the playoffs, the first or second game against Miami, I thought that the coach made a questionable
decision. Didn't have Hibbert in the game.
He didn't have Hibbert in the game.
Well, you are unbelievable. My goodness gracious. That's a major play. Hibbert didn't play in the game. Didn't get an offensive rebound. Miami wins the game to stay alive in that series.
No other human being like him. Now, what's the deal with Alex Rodriguez? He calls up your old buddy Mike Francesa, and then you went nuts, and it's on the back page of the New York News over the weekend. Look at this. Here it is on Friday. Dog bites Fran. Mike Francesa, your old pal over there at WFAN. What is going on there?
Listen, Mike's been doing that show for 20 years. He's had 25 years. Great career. He's done everything perfect. He's got a lot of integrity with that show. But I'm surprised, he's been giving A-Rod a soft landing spot. He's giving him a parachute. I mean, A-Rod to Mike on last week, I haven't done steroids. Well, hold on. You said that to Katie Couric in 2007, and we found out you lied then. How do I believe you this time? Mike did not press him on it. I was a little surprised. So I'm a little surprised that Mike has given A-Rod a little cushion to sort of spew his thing.
I can understand that. I mean,
they're friends.
It's a big name. It's a big name.
It's a good guest, right?
Yeah. But now is Alex Rodriguez using the word steroids as a shield? Maybe it wasn't exactly steroids. Maybe it was something
excellent
else.
Point. I think he's using that as a camouflage. I think he's a little semantics. But A-Rod's I'd be surprised if he plays baseball next year. I would be shocked if he doesn't get 150 games. We know the suspension is for 211.
What is A-Rod mad at Bud Selig about? Now there are those, and I think I talked to Bud Selig about
on the air
that they had the strike the work stoppage,
right,
and that the interest in baseball was waning.
Right.
They come back and they have the big 70 Mark McGwire home run season and Barry Bonds.
With Sosa.
And they claim that Bud Selig, Commissioner of Baseball, was well aware of what was going on. Is that true?
You know, I think Bud's head was in the sand. He probably should have been a little more proactive in that. And you had Bud in his chair in July. And
I like Buddy.
I do too. And, you know, Bud's taken a lot of hits because everybody thinks it's a little bit of a witch hunt on A-Rod, which I can understand to a degree. But listen, if you're baseball, are you going to go out there and do this big investigation and spend all this manpower and then do something illegal, which is going to make you go? They're going to go to the Supreme Court and throw the thing. They're not. You know, you're going to be careful here. Right. And Rob Manfred, who's running the investigation, is a classy guy. He's a Cornell and Harvard guy. He's not. Look, I mean, A-Rod he done steroids, for goodness sakes, and we're all tired of it. You know, it's time for A-Rod to go away. He's 38 years of age. He's cheated. It's time for A-Rod to say goodbye. And I'm a little surprised that Mike has allowed A-Rod to give him his, you know, state of the earth thing, killing baseball, on his show. That surprises me a little bit. Yeah. I'm surprised by that.
When was the last time you had to pee in a cup?
It's been a while, big guy. Been a while.
Oh. There's something else I wanted to talk about. I can't forget it.
Incognito?
Incognito. Who knows what that is?
How about the Nets and the Knicks? How bad are those two teams? Speaking of the NBA.
I mean, in New York City and the New York Knicks, that used to be, when I was a kid, you had the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks and the Philadelphia 76ers.
And the Lakers.
And the Lakers. And by God, that was all you needed for basketball.
And right now, the Celtics are terrible. The Knicks are bad. The Lakers with Kobe, you know, they got major issues there. Those four franchises. But the NBA I love the NBA. The NBA is okay. The NBA is going to have a good year. They got a lot of good teams. And football is going to have a good year. You know, there's a big game next Monday night.
Who's on the
Saints and Seahawks.
Oh,
NFC.
Yeah.
Remember, that game's in Seattle. Mm-hmm. And if the Saints win that game, they can get that championship game in New Orleans. And you both, you know, Seattle, New Orleans, home field, very important.
They're having the Super Bowl out here.
Which is crazy.
Must be great. Don't you think it'd be great?
You're going to go sit in the upper deck?
No.
4 o'clock in the afternoon?
I, of course, won't be attending.
We're going to freeze that night. Yeah. And it's supposed to be big storms. You heard about the big storms?
Big storm, like a superstorm?
Yes. Fall. You didn't read that?
No, I haven't seen
Oh, my goodness. 30 inches of snow.
Oh, really? It's Christopher Mad Dog Russo, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with Sky Ferreira.